This video is sponsored by Gate.io. If you set an account up using the link in the description, you'll get 25% back on all your spot and futures fees for life. Gate.io. Hello everybody, welcome back. We're going to look at XRP as it's one of the only altcoins up today. In fact, one of the only things up today. And we're just going to talk about what should expect short and long term for XRP. Now, I like XRP. I've got quite a lot of XRP. Throughout the last bull market. I was doing futures, derivatives, coin futures basically, and I basically ended up with way more than anyone should ever really have of XRP, and I basically just keep them because there is a cycle that stays in place for XRP. Now this is the XRP with the Bitcoin pair, so we'll talk about that in just a moment because things are looking quite interesting in the short term. But long term, I've made videos about this in the past. This is the full cycle history really, going all the way back to 2014. We had this big, massive pump up and a huge consolidation. Let's face it, this is a beast of a consolidation that took basically 826 days to break out, and then it broke out and then went up to another major peak, and then guess what happened? Yeah, a huge major consolidation until we broke out, which took about 900 days. This is the last bull market that we see now. That there's your bottom area, and again, this is all part of what I was talking about for XRP when I made this first video about the cycle on the previous bull market, right? Or bear market into bull market. I was talking about this exact carbon copy repeat leading into this move. Now, we didn't make a brand new all-time high, but we did continue to behave in the same way, which is why I like to highlight XRP as something that we should all expect to see behave in the same way. Just like you've got a market cycle for Bitcoin, I think we've got one for XRP. And again, we ran all the way up to the top, and we're currently consolidating still. So far, we're down to the tune of roughly, give or take, about 700 days. The last time we came down here was longer than the previous time before that, and so on and so on and so on. And so we're looking for this to continue within this range, more or less. I don't mean that we're going to come all the way down to, the 20-cent zone, although we could. But until we break out of one of these major consolidations, we shouldn't expect the vicious, huge, fast roaring upside that XRP likes to give us. But one thing we can say is that it's likely to do this sort of behavior again. Did it here, and we should probably do it again. So there is a rinse and repeat market cycle, I feel, as though it's going on right here. Unlike Bitcoin, which spends more or less 3 years going up, 1 year going down, XRP spends 3 years going down and basically 1 year going up, give or take, give or take. So this is XRP currently with its Bitcoin pair broken out of a very small, although aggressive, it's small as in time frame compared to what we've just looked at, descending triangle, or just a downwards move. Now we've broken out of that. We're hitting this 50 exponential moving average, and we hit into this buy zone. So this buy zone, historically, if we just look at it, has been relevant since we tested it back down here in 2020. Every time we get into this area, not every time, but a lot of the time we get into this area, there is some kind of reaction. So obviously that was a decent reaction. Obviously that was a decent reaction. That was a decent reaction. Consolidated within here. We did break down, but eventually reaccumulated and had a decent reaction, and so we came down into it recently. So we're saying this on the Patreon live stream, which you might think about joining, links in the description below, but otherwise just think about what we're looking at here for risk to reward. So we recognize that there is a market cycle involved. If you bought the top of this buy zone and you came down to the bottom area down here, you'd be looking to lose potentially 55%. If this were to be a rinse and repeat of the previous cycle, maybe you'd be looking to receive about 164%. So the risk to reward is greater. You're looking to receive more than you get back, and this is in its Bitcoin pair. We also recognize that obviously if you're thinking about this and a measured move from this sort of area, you'd be thinking about meeting the mouth of the descending triangle, wherever we broke out from, which would likely take us to a new high, a new all-time high, even though it'd be ever so subtle. Let's just say we broke out today here, we could measure this move, and again, this is always a crude way of doing it. Definitely something that YouTubers probably overuse, but it's a crude way to do it. Let's just say we broke out here. It would take us up to around $4. So you think about where we're at right now. This is a lot. This is a lot like how I interpret lots of altcoins at this particular level. Yeah, you could easily see 50% retracements from here, but over time, you know, once these market cycles have completed and the full bull run is completed, even buying most altcoins of significance, I say of significance here, I still think there's about a 10x to go on most of these altcoins over a 3-year period. So we're talking 2025 here. And it's going to be a bumpy ride until then with all the CPIs and Fed meetings and, you know, exchange farts and, you know, anything's possible. All sorts of things can happen, geopolitical events, and who knows what's around the corner. But generally speaking, you know, if we're thinking solely on the charts, especially something that looks long like this, then we'll be looking to see at least the previous, most recent high, and then maybe a little higher get tagged. So we're talking about $4 or so, which was the target I had set for the previous market, the previous bull market for XRP. But if you were around in that period, XRP was basically, you know, snubbed quite quickly and dramatically by the SEC, and they still have this ongoing case with the SEC, to which they're most likely going to win, by the way. They're most likely going to come out victorious, but again, that in itself is a black swan or a white swan, depending on which way you want to call it. It's an event that can't be interpreted on this chart. The chart tells us one thing and events tell us another, but it seems unlikely that the SEC are going to beat XRP. But who knows? So yeah, we probably would have gone on to reach that $4 zone if it wasn't for the SEC, which came into fashion here. I'm going to stop this bull run right now. And then we started the consolidation, and we're still in that right now. But, you know, even without the SEC doing that, the chart has always respected supports and moving averages, and I would expect to see respect of the market cycle. Which means that we've probably got another, you know, year of, you know, sideways or accumulation before some enormous move takes place. But where are you going to enter? That's the question. And on a Bitcoin pair, this is your first, or we've kind of just missed it, I suppose, but this is your first area of significance. Now, when XRP runs, it runs very fast. So let's have a look at the Tether pair, because it is green today. And this is, you know, obviously on the daily, this is the consolidation trend line that we've seen on the log scale, but this is obviously just focused on the latest portion of the downtrend since the SEC messed around with it, really. And we're getting closer and closer and closer to maybe breaking out. Now, if we focus on exactly, you know, the next major area, which is up here around 40 cents, we've got horizontal significant trend line. We've got the 200 exponential, which is always a big deal for XRP, and we've got the price trying to float up towards that level. So if we were to get up to there today or this week or so, we're talking like another 6%, 6.5%, 7%. And if we break out from there, then that might be time to start to really focus on XRP. About, you know, maybe we're going for an early market cycle breakout here. Maybe XRP is gearing up for something significant and violent to the upside. At the moment, we should expect nothing more than a rejection from here. But once we break out of this trend line, and especially not just that, but if we break out and these moving averages start to cross out from here, there's your 200, there's your 200 simple, there's your 50, here's your Bollinger Band center, and price action is above all of these, outside of this trend line, that's when we should start to think about getting excited. We could easily come down to supports, back down to the 30s, that's fine. We could easily get right above these and use these moving averages as a launch pad. That's also fine. I'm just telling you now that things are looking quite interesting for XRP at this current moment in time. Doesn't mean that you should take a position here and expect, you know, instant gratification for your trade, but it might be something that you might want to highlight on your favorites list for what could be a serious run. And when XRP runs, it runs very fast and then gives it all back. It's always done that. You know, gives it, you know, very fast run up, gives it all back. Very fast run up, gives it all back. Fast run up, gives it all back. Fast run up, so that's what we'll be looking for if it were to happen. So, you know, there's always going to be people touting for $10 XRP, $20 XRP, $513 XRP. There's always going to be those people. I'm thinking between now and 2025, we'll see a $4 XRP. So that's all I'm saying, a $4 XRP. So, you know, so that's a 10x from here, give or take, really. And again, we've got the SEC situation, which I think will work out in their favour. which should emphasize the move, and we should go on to make a new all-time high, which again would be $4, just over $4 for XRP. But right now, expect the rejection from this area, but if we don't get rejected and we creep out of here and we stay outside of here, then actually, you know, I think it would be worthy of taking a position in XRP and then sitting back for the long haul on this one until we start to see those tear up moves. Whether you want to get out on the way up is completely up to you, because it is a wild beast and does give up most of its gains very quickly, almost as quick as it gives them to you. So that's just one way to try and trade this, or alternatively sit back and wait and see where this can take you in 2025. It's a long way away, I appreciate that, and it's going to be a bumpy ride for everything. You know, absolutely everything will be pretty bumpy throughout that period, because we've got inflation still high and all kinds of issues taking place globally. But if you've got your eyes set on the bigger picture, I think we'll be looking to see a $4 XRP some point in 2025. And look, to be fair, if we break out of here, we might even see a $4 XRP. You know, maybe even this year. But I'm not saying that that's going to happen, because again, expect nothing but rejection while being below resistance. But once breaking out of these areas, then really it does have the turbo powered rocket fuel that you want to see from altcoins, and XRP does have that power. So let's not underestimate what XRP can do. It definitely can do stuff, and we should focus on it the closer it gets to breaking out of this descending triangle. Anyway, I'll leave with you there. There's not much more to say about this. That is it. I'll add a nice little clickbait title for you all. But again, it's not based on clickbait. It's not based on hopium. I think it's a conservative estimation. And it was the same thing I said last year as we were approaching the end of the apex. And I did give a target. I gave several targets, to be honest with you. All of which were either just below or just above the all-time high. There was one target which was up in the $20 region. Obviously that didn't get hit, but yeah, always think about being conservative when you're trading these charts. There's always going to be people, you know, touting for much higher prices. Doesn't mean you should try and wait for that much higher price. Feel free to leave some available to see if that does get there, but scaling out at the most conservative, which again, talking about a 10x is not conservative. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.